This show contains violence and adult language. We open on a shot that's twisting and falling towards the ground, towards this crevice upon which Grant and Kane are falling into. We can see Grant falling, reaching out, and Kane reaching out with an outstretched arm as this massive nugget of ghost rock clacks with a hollow thwack, cracks against the side of this chasm. Let's see it.
You in this or what?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go, baby.
-4 both.
Let's go, baby.
Okay.
I hope you both die.
I got a 6. You got a 6.
Oh!
So that's a 2. I have to get a 2 or up.
Both you have to get a 2.
I got a 3.
No,
That's a
that's
reroll.
cocked. That's cocked.
Let's reroll.
There's a shot of our two hands grasping each other's forearms. And then he pulls me up.
If anyone would like to spend a Benny, instead of this thing plummeting into the depths,
Yes.
it gets lodged about 10 feet
I
down.
will. Yeah, Doc absolutely wants that sort of thing, so he will spend one.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Grant.
Thank you.
You look down, Alex, as it gets lodged in between them, and we cut to Agent Boudreaux as you see like the Rock and Grant fall into the chasm.
He's kind of relaxing. He's like leaned back against a rock. He sees them kind of fall and he like sits up and then like he just doesn't move. And then he sees Kane pull Grant kind of out of the hole and they all kind of like look back down and he just kind of sits back down into his spot.
Just chill.
I would like a Benny for that, please.
You're like a Betty
I would like a Benny
for
because
not doing anything.
not doing anything during all that.
I think
I'll buy it.
Cameron
I'll
Day
buy
should
it.
get a Benny for risking his life.
Thank
I'll
you.
buy it. I'll
He
buy
should
it. You
definitely
get a
get a
Benny.
Benny.
I'll buy it. Lovely. All around.
Dolores is standing on the opposite side of the crevasse now from the other explorers, and she peers down at this artifact that's wedged deeply down there. She peers for a moment and looks around at the other ones. Well, are we going to get it out? A simple pulley or perhaps a fulcrum would be more than enough, I'm sure, to pull it up and out.
Dolores Day's words are in sharp contrast to the reality of the situation these explorers find themselves in. You are hundreds of feet below the entrance of this mine that almost looks like someone took it and smashed it over their knee. It looks like a earthquake rocked this place, or the true cause, the explosion down here, split open whatever semblance of order that humanity had pushed into this place and has ripped it apart. Everything is falling apart and cracked. There's these fires that still burn around you. And if you didn't know you were in a mine, it would sort of seem like you were just in a naturally formed cave with some indication of human presence.
Well, if it's that easy, why don't you take it away, Missy?
Kane says as he helps Grant up completely into stable ground. She frowns at them. I didn't say it was easy. I said it was straightforward. Those are different concepts, sir.
Grant's kind of just like looking down at this thing wedged down there in this crevasse. You really had my back there, Kane. Appreciate you.
Nah, don't mention it.
Listen, Dolores, it's a good idea to find some ropes and some pulleys, but one of us is going to have to climb down there. I don't suppose there's any volunteers.
Gotta say, I feel like I've earned my wage. Don't feel much like sticking my neck out any farther.
It certainly won't be me, that's for certain.
And I think there's just a silent shot of John Boudreaux just sitting on a rock, minding his own business.
Well, I guess that would be me then, wouldn't it, Dolores?
I guess it would.
Well, I guess you guys better start looking for some rope then. You're going to need a lot of it. Make sure it's strong. This thing's heavy.
Yeah, okay. Hey, I think if I can take a look at your Peggy, I might be able to help you out with this. Set it so that it can help pull for you.
Well, yeah, if that's a possibility.
Doc Sorden is sort of wiping his face with a grimy rag from his pouch, getting some of the sweat off his face, and taking a look at Peggy, who is looking like it's not quite operating as well as it's supposed to. And he looks a little puzzled at it. If you boys and Miss Dolores over there can go ahead and, I don't know, rummage through some of these carts or, find one.
Yeah, and maybe John over there should get to some fucking work. Because if you want equal pay in this, you're gonna have to do equal parts.
John kind of glances up. With his right hand lifts up and kind of tips his hat up to make eye contact with Kane. Now, I don't know about you lot, but
I didn't come down here for no ghost rock. I came down here to understand the cause of this catastrophe and the monstrosities that have been finding themselves on the surface. I don't care for this measly ghost rock.
It's not about the ghost rock,
That's
John.
a foolish assumption. Didn't you say there was something in it, right?
That's right. There's some sort of language on here, Dolores. Looks like some sort of ancient artifact. It's not just a hunk of ghost rock.
Precisely.
Where's your sense of exploration, of adventure, Mr. Boudreaux?
Frankly, I don't give a shit. And he stands up. I'm here to understand why this place exploded and to stop these creatures from reaching the surface again. So why don't we stop fucking around and get to the task at hand?
I think you misunderstand the implications. If what he says is true, there's an artifact inside Ghost Rock that did not explode in a massive explosion of Ghost Rock. Doesn't that seem strange to you? That's something we should investigate. I'm sure it has something to do with what we are searching for.
Then god damn it, we can investigate it once we understand the cause of the explosion.
Go fucking play with your cave critters or whatever the hell you calling them.
It was probably fire, John. Fire was probably the cause of the explosion. It's a ghost rock mine.
That is a pretty...
This artifact could change history, and you're worried about some bugs getting out.
There's a flash of motion on the ceiling of this cavern. The few of you that look up see a smaller tunnel critter than the ones you've seen before. A millipede-looking thing with mandibles and claws. But this one is only about a foot long, and it's skittering quickly across the ceiling.
Grant, we better get your ass down there pretty quick.
I would appreciate it if we would stop arguing and find some rope, because I'm not leaving here without this artifact.
A few more tunnel critters skirt out along the ceiling. You can see they're all coming from one crack in the wall that's darkened, untouched by fire. It's flat, wide, and not very tall, probably only a foot, maybe two, and it goes back further than you can see. After a few more moments, a few of these bugs continue to crawl out. There's probably about 10 of them total now. None of them coming directly towards you, but they're skittering across the ceiling and on the ground, just seeming to be going fast in the opposite direction.
Going fast in the opposite direction, like they're fleeing from something?
Perhaps you could make that assertion, yeah.
Hey, Kane, you see those bugs?
Yeah, I see them.
Does it look like they're running from something?
I don't know, they're fucking bugs.
Yeah, that's a lot of them. They're all going the same direction. That's a little weird.
I mean, what could they be running from? Probably fire, I suppose.
Or maybe a bigger creature of some kind.
You talking bigger bugs?
Who knows? Grant kind of gets his rifle unslung from his back and puts it at like the low ready. Maybe takes a knee.
There's a deep rumbling that shakes the cavern you're in, like a small tremor, and from the direction that those critters are crawling, there are thousands of collective legs chittering against the surface of the stone. There is a gust of cold air, desperately cold compared to that modified by the fire around you, and it's accompanied by a sound that's a bit like putting your ear next to a shell, something in the distance, coming this way.
Doc Soren is not going to take the time to go investigate. He wants to get to work on trying to get this ghost wreck out as quickly as possible.
Attaboy.
So he's going to try to reconfigure Peggy a little bit to see if he can get one of the gears to act as a winch.
Peggy's heavy, right?
She is pretty heavy, yeah. Big cast iron gears and cogs. And
So what are you trying to do mechanically there, Marshall?
well, it's twofold, Caleb, because I have a confession to make.
Oh no.
Last episode, I incorrectly labeled the spell I was using out of Peggy.
Fuck!
We're supposed to be professionals, Marshall.
I know. It was the last spell that I put into my list, and I had been sort of hovering on two of them.
We're gonna have to start the whole session over.
So, I mean, nothing really is changing, right? You're going to use the proper stuff this time, and the PowerPoint usage would have been about the same.
Correct, yeah. All the PowerPoints were accurate for deflection. I just called it deflection and gave it the ability of deflection or of protection. So they shouldn't have had armor. They should have had negatives to attacks coming into them.
Cool. Well, it's an RPG. Happens all the time. No big deal.
So if I could go ahead and maybe roll fixing that part in with maybe a repair roll to reconfigure Peggy to make a bit of a winch so that way we can see about pulling this ghost rock out.
Yep.
Yeah, make a repair roll.
And while he is reconfiguring Peggy, I think Dolores is rummaging around looking for anything that could be fashioned into the rope that they would need to get down there.
Good
Great.
call.
While you figure out the math for that, Marshall, I don't think you'll get to roll quite yet. We see John move just a little bit closer, just a couple steps. We see the shot from underneath him. Fire sort of spurts up and lights him up, and we can see like a few tunnel critters on the roof of the ceiling crawling by in the shot as he stares, and then we cut to his eyes sort of glassed over with that like demon dog reflection that you get sometimes when you see an animal at night. And then we cut to a point of view, John, and inside that tunnel you can now see what the noise is. There are so many of those creatures crawling over each other, all trying to move faster than the one before it. And I don't know if you've seen videos of ants doing this, right? But you get a layer of these creatures running on the bottom and then another layer running on them, adding their acceleration, you know, and then there's another layer and another layer, every one of them exponentially faster than the one before it, all crawling and rolling over each other towards you. And we need to make a fear roll at -2.
Okie dokie.
Just
That
him.
is not what I was expecting.
Just him, yeah.
There's just a shot of Doc Soren as he starts to get to work on this. He's pulling out his equipment and he pulls out a small English 1840. It's a little Derringer that he rests on the top of Peggy's shell, and then he gets to popping open the little casing on her head and gets to reconfiguring.
Awesome. Let's see it, Cameron. Blowing up a 6.
8.
So with a raise, you steal yourself, and I don't know what to give you for the raise, but do you call out to anyone else? Do you tell them what's going on?
Yeah, I think he stops, he sees that, and he turns and he starts to run. And he's running towards whatever entrance leads deeper into this place. And yeah, I think he calls out, "Y'all better get your asses moving," pointing back towards the rushing.
And with that, we're going to deal initiative cards, and then we're going to start a dramatic task.
Oof.
All
Okay.
right. So you need a series of successes to accomplish something over the encounter. If you get a clubs, there are some things that are going to happen, some complications where you could potentially just fail the whole thing in one go. And you're going to need a set amount of successes in a certain amount of time. The timer in this situation is the horde of tunnel critters that will arrive in this cavern in 3 rounds. The number of successes you need is 10 to get
Holy
the
shit.
rock unbudged and out of here. You can use whatever skills you want to justify, you know, like Marshall, you're probably going to use mad science or repair. If Dolores is looking for rope, then a notice roll would make sense to find that. And every success and raise will get you one of those 10 needed.
So we have to do a dramatic test to get this thing unwedged.
Yeah.
Is finding the rope part of that, or we have to find the rope first?
All of that would be part of the successes of the dramatic task.
Perfect, okay.
So it's the whole thing, including finding the supplies, getting it out, getting onto a wheelbarrow, and getting it moving or whatever.
Cool.
Cameron Day, King of Hearts.
Cool.
Alex, 2 of Diamonds. Isaac, 7 of Spades. Cameron Reed, 7 of Clubs. Marshall, 4 of Hearts. And the Tunnel Critters get an 8 of Diamonds. Kane, you're up first.
I'm not going to start climbing down there, but I will roll athletics to begin to find like a path for Grant to get down.
So you're saying, okay, to climb down over on this side of it.
I'm honestly even helping him.
If
like,
he uses a roll
lowering
for
him
this,
down.
if he does well, Caleb, will I get a bonus to my athletics roll to get down?
Yeah, so
That's what I'm saying.
he can do something called a support, in which case you can make a roll, and if you're successful, you give Alex a +2 to his roll.
Can I argue for a +4 because of the extraordinary rolls that me and him had last round?
They're in sync, Caleb.
They're partners in crime.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you, but if you roll a critical failure, dude,
Well, yeah.
you know, we're
I'll
going to
take
have
that.
to...
What are the
yeah.
chances of that, though?
Yeah,
Yeah.
come on.
We're
There's
going to
no
do some
way.
serious shit then.
All right, well, it was a 1 and a 2.
That
So it
was
wasn't
actually
amazing.
very close.
It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't a critical failure.
You cannot find an easy way down there.
Unless you use a Benny, maybe. You got 3.
You see John run across the room. You're looking down there, looking to this guy, the doctor, getting his mechanical tortoise ready. And yeah, you cannot see a way down there. The bugs go, and they just move a little bit closer. Dolores, your turn.
Dolores is so frustrated with this, like everybody's just kind of standing around passing action, that she just storms off in a huff, starts running around this room frantically looking for any rope that she can find.
Perfect. Let's see a notice roll, Isaac.
That's going to be a D4, if somebody can roll that for me.
D4. Oh,
That's a 4.
That is 1 success needed of 10. You find some rope, Isaac. She looks to one side of the room, and then we cut to a close-up shot of the rope, and then we cut to John. John, you got a clubs.
John did get clubs. John is not interested in taking any time to get this freaking rock out of this hole. He's not.
He's
he doesn't
running.
want it.
He's the worst.
His mission.
Is to fight bugs. Which you are running from right now. So mission failed.
His mission is to figure out what happened down here and come away with any data about what happened down here and to stop all of this. He doesn't care about this. So I think he moves away. He looks back and sees that nobody is moving. So I think I'm going to roll a persuasion roll to try to get everybody to abandon this freaking rock and move to a safer location.
Well, that's going to be a problem for you because Grant is curious and driven.
I am
So-
also driven, so we're at an impasse here.
I'm going to give you a Benny for acting in character here, Cameron, and fucking over the party. And then if you want to make a roll, everyone can look at the result and see how their character feels about it. So I don't want to speak for other PCs.
Well, what are you saying?
I'm going to roll first to see how bad it goes. If it's really bad, I'm not going to say anything good. That's Snake Eyes.
That's Snake Eyes.
We don't even hear you. You're running. All we hear is echoes. I'm a mom.
We hear him crying.
What's
as
he
he
saying?
runs.
So maybe what happens is he turns to say something and he has to deal with his Manitow. He goes to speak and his Manitow starts trying to convince him to just leave them. And instead of taking this time to try to convince the group, he's kind of arguing with himself. And I think the camera cuts away from him.
Marshall, let's see what Soren's doing with this turtle, man.
Everybody's been talking about how nobody's moving. He has been furiously working away on
Just
Peggy here.
cranking away.
As have I.
I think we've all been moving, just not in the direction that Cameron wants us to go.
Yeah, there's a difference. We haven't been obeying.
All right, let's see how this repair goes.
Oh my God.
It's Snake Eyes, isn't it?
It's
I'm going to
Snake
tell you
Eyes.
right now, Marshall, that's a bummer. That's a real bummer.
Peggy blows up and launches you off the side of the.
It's a repair, not a mad scientist roll.
That is good news.
Oh.
All right,
'Cause
settle down.
if it were a mad scientist role, we may have to do some sort of.
I would have been in a lot of trouble. I took a screenshot of the madness table while we were describing some stuff, and yeah, I don't want it.
A critical failure on a dramatic task means you actually take away a progress token. So we're going to take away the thing that Dolores just succeeded on.
Dolores throws the rope over. He grabs it. He's reconfiguring Peggy, right? And he's plugging in this rope, getting it tied into this makeshift pulley. And then your configuration just snips the rope.
Oh no!
Just shreds it.
Yeah.
That's
Instead
good.
of being a pulley, just like shreds this
How do
rope.
none of us have a rope, by the way? I feel like we should have brought a rope.
Dolores, you look in horror as the mad scientist across the room from you just ruined all the work you did.
Oh, damn it.
Doctor, what are you doing?
I'm sorry. I should have. It was the torque.
You're sorry?
It was the torque. It's a little too high. Just give me a little more time.
My, there is no time. And it looks like she's going to follow John.
We cut over to the man of the hour.
Grant.
Oh, what am I supposed to do?
Grant boy.
Grant healed him right in.
What am I supposed to do
I
here?
think we're running now,
Come on,
boys.
baby.
So 2 people just ran. We can't just leave this artifact down there.
We can come back for it.
Maybe it'll fall though. We can't lose this. This could change human history.
Are you so
And it's worth
curious
a
and
lot of
driven?
money.
Is your character so curious and driven that he will stand there and die on top of this artifact?
I think I will try and find a way to get it out.
He's also not in direct mortal peril yet.
Yeah.
And he also isn't aware of the extensiveness of the bug swarm.
And I'm also not a wimpy wimp.
Like
Some
importantly,
people. Listen, Kane, I think they're running. What's the play here?
Nah, they weren't doing anything anyways. Keep
I
on
can
going.
try and find a rope. I'm gonna have to get back across, though.
Yeah, you really don't want to go down there, do you?
Well, I guess you can go look for a rope.
I don't know how good I am at that. I'll go down there.
Godspeed then, and then I'm gonna try and make an athletics roll to get back across so I can start looking for a fucking rope, I guess.
That makes sense. So an athletics roll to sort of give you the mobility to get all the stuff you need in this room.
All right, let's see how I do. I'm gonna shoot for not getting snake eyes here.
Yeah, that's the...
Well, that's a 3.
With the 3, I think you jump over and like you don't fall. You didn't get a critical failure, but I do think you land on the edge and it cracks underneath and some rocks go tumbling down into the crevasse below. You catch yourself and start to move, but you're sort of slowed down and you take the next few jumps a little bit more carefully. All right, let's deal again. Read 4 of clubs. Marshall, it's your go, man.
Doc is pretty irritated at this point. I think he reflexively sort of bangs Peggy over the side of the head a little bit. It wobbles him for a moment. Damn it! One more try. I know I can get this. He's gonna try another repair roll, man.
Okay,
6.
1 success. Okay.
We'll take
back
it.
We
down.
only need 9 more in one turn.
You turn the tool you're holding, and the whole thing whirls to life, and I think you re-feed in the rope, and it starts to feed through the pulley. The chittering and clicking of these insects grows louder from that darkened hole. I think you glance over there in a moment while you're wiping off some sweat, Soren, and you still can't see them, but you can at least pick out like the legs on the stone now. You hear the sound of it.
I think he wants to sort of duck low behind Peggy so that hopefully it just looks like there's another rock in here.
The creatures go and their turn timer ticks down. This is until they enter the cave, and they have 1 turn left on their die. Alex?
I'm gonna try to roll athletics to get to Doc to grab the rope and make it back.
Yeah. Like he's fed through the remaining rope after the first bit got cut off.
But we still need to get the rope to the rock, tie it
Yep.
around, all that, and give it a shot.
It's not a good night for this rock. Oh my god. He's fingering his last penny.
You
This
have
thing
to.
is
There's
cursed.
no way that we're gonna get all these successes, dude.
I'm driven. I'm gonna play into my hindrances here. I'm gonna spin this Benny because I'm sick of rolling.
Do it.
Hell
bad.
Attaboy.
Ooh, that's double threes.
yeah. No.
I mean, they're better.
You jump over to Soren and you're like, give me the rope, and you look over to this crack where you hear all these creatures inside, and he like tries to hand it to you, but it's the wrong side of the rope, you know.
It's the frayed end of it, and
It gets stuck, and you're just sort of fumbling with it as we cut over to Kane.
So I know you guys just explained this, but what is the meaning behind this?
You're pointing to the clubs you have.
Yes.
That means that there's some sort of complication. So whatever you're trying to do in this dramatic task will be at a -2, and we'll describe it narratively. And if you roll a critical failure, like we've seen so many times already, the task is straight failed.
Well, what are the chances of that?
Right.
So I'm going to just go flat athletics again and just try and get into this fucking hole with this
Okay.
rock.
Oh my God, you're going down right now.
He's
Oh,
going
yeah, I
down,
gotta go
baby.
down.
he's got to figure out how to get the rope around it, right?
Oh, no, there's a
-2.
complication.
Yep.
No.
So it would have been a success, but it's a failure. Okay, we need some sort of complication here.
Dude, use a Benny. You got 3.
And I want to keep 3.
Oh, it could be that he's starting to climb down, right? He has his hands up on the top of the ledge and he's just lowering himself down. And then there's like a small crack along this crevasse that starts to spit a little bit of fire, like him shifting his weight has opened up a path. And now like there's just some fire spitting out like right where his hands are.
Sure, yeah. So like you
Yeah.
fall backwards and press yourself against the other side while this flame shoots out right above your head.
Very cool.
Love it. Dolores, it's your turn.
Dolores is standing next to John now, looking back at this room as they're frantically trying to get the rope going, get this machine going, get the whole thing working, right? John, are you really going to run now?
He kind of looks over at her. And you're not?
I surely understand the tactical situation, but there's so much at stake.
I don't give a shit about that. I have a mission and I am going to accomplish that mission. What about you?
This is a rookie on her first mission who just doesn't know which way to go. Like she hesitates, starts to leave, and then sprints back into the room to see if she can help them in any way.
You run back into the room to see Grant with Soren messing with the machine, and then Kane below sort of holding himself on for dear life. This fire has sprouted out. You look between those two, and you can hear that chittering so much louder now. Dozens of these small critters have poured over the roof and the floor, and many of them are like going above you and below you.
Could I use shooting to contribute to this dramatic task by just clearing out a few of the critters that have been slowly working their way into this room to maybe give the boys some space?
I think how I would see it is if you just use it and unload into the far chamber, and maybe slow them down by creating enough bodies, maybe hitting some of the larger ones.
That sounds great. Then she draws out that fresh-looking Gatling pistol that got so much attention the last time and just tries to mow down whatever's inside there. So I'll roll shooting, which is a D8.
That's 2 4, so that's a success.
We see her fire it up past Soren. I think, Soren, you look up as gunshots fill the room, and we cut over to John.
John is still not going to help with this freaking rock situation. We're not getting it. He's looking over. He's watching all of this happen. He watched the rope get torn up. He watched this whole debacle where the wrong side of the rope was handed to the wrong person. He watched Kane basically fall into the hole. This isn't happening. At this point, he's just going to start shooting, I think in hopes to just cause anxiety for the group. His words aren't doing anything. So at this point, he's just trying to get everybody scared enough to start moving. He also doesn't feel bad about leaving people behind. So if this doesn't work, I think he's going to start marching off.
Oof. Let's roll some shooting and everybody can see how they feel about it.
2 and a 1, so fuck it.
All right, let's do initiative again. Soren, Joker. Everybody gets to draw a Benny on the player side.
Oh, yeah,
Since
gimme,
a Joker was pulled.
Thank you,
Yoink, yoink,
Deadlands.
Oh
Thank
my
you,
god,
Savage
that was
Worlds.
good timing for that shit.
Yes.
Marshall with the Joker, you get a +2 to every roll you make this turn, and you either can act first or you can act whenever you want, including interrupting other people's actions. Do you want to go now, or you want to let Cameron Day go for it?
Right now you have a Joker. This is the perfect opportunity to try to get some ticks in this dramatic task, if you ask me.
Yeah. Well,
So we have 2,
And
we
you need
need 8 more.
That's
this
right.
round.
Well, okay, so we just
Well, not
need
this round.
we
We're
just
fine.
need something to blow up 20 times.
Yeah, if we get one blow up.
I mean, I don't have anything that's going to blow up that's not going to, kill us, right?
I don't mean
mean the
literally
dice.
blow
He needs
up.
the dice, you jabroni.
Man, if I could roll... Listen, it never happens to me. I don't think about the dice blowing up.
It'll blow up this time, dude.
Maybe the dice don't believe in you because you don't believe in
You
yourself.
don't believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Listen, I thought this was a gaming podcast. Wow, guys.
Sorry, man. Sometimes shit just needs to be said, okay?
We're going deep on
Just
stuff.
to recap, we got the pulley system set up, right? We got the rope
Yes.
fed into it successfully.
Yes.
So we just need to
Yeah.
get the rope to Cameron. Cameron needs to climb down, tie it around, and then we can wedge it up.
Okay, which means I have to go before Cameron. Doc Soren is gonna slam the casing shut on old Peggy's head, and she's gonna start whirring up and plod along to the edge of this crevasse here. And since we couldn't make the handoff, he's just gonna throw the correct end down into the pit. Kane, catch! We don't have much time.
Damn straight we don't have much time.
This sounds like an athletics roll.
Can I research them right quick? What about academics, Caleb? Could I use some academics to,
The answer is yes, but the question is how,
Well, unfortunately, Doc Erickson is smarter than I am, so I don't know how he does it.
Ah,
He just,
okay.
he just
What if there's
does.
just a shot, and then you can see a bunch of math kind of...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He beautiful minds
You're just
it.
looking up. You see it just in the air, CGI'd above him.
I'm okay with Soren doing a bunch of calculations. That's cool.
Calculate away.
Calculate.
I don't know. Just
I think
go
I'd
with
like Soren to, with his science, gauge how much of this rope he needs to throw down to allow for Kane to have a better chance at tying a knot around this giant thing.
Just a classic calculation roll.
Whether it's academics, science, but he wants to use his intelligence to see if there's a way he can help out with the tie-in process down below.
I gotcha. Go for it.
I'm gonna use his academics because he's been a smart boy. I'm gonna go ahead and use that Joker Benny you just gave me.
get rid of it.
Oof, a Rooney, dude.
That'll still have been a success, but you're going for a raise.
We need more than
Because
of the-
success
because of
at
the
this
Joker.
point.
Yeah,
We need much more
I
than
don't
a
want a
success.
5. I want.
If this is a snake eyes, I'm gonna shit myself.
No.
He blows up a
Oh,
6.
blows
exactly.
up.
That's
We're
a good
getting
start.
at a raise already.
That is a good
Exactly.
start, man.
6 again.
Oh, good.
Let's do it.
That's
Let's
a
do it.
14. That is an 18, Caleb.
Did you add the +2 already?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
including the +2. That's an 18, sir.
That's 4 total.
4 successes.
That's all we needed.
Okay,
I
but
think-
how are we going to describe this, dude?
So what happened was Soren is pretty clumsy, but when it comes to actual like fine detail work, something clears up in his head and it just works for him. And so he quickly sees the length of rope he has left. As he's got Peggy at the edge of the crevasse here, he looks down, he sees how far he's got. We see some calculations, the magic of cinema. And he quickly goes to work. He ties a large loop and then a couple of extra knots to make for anchor points. And then he tosses the long end of the rope down to Kane.
He also throws some snatch blocks in there, I think.
He's got some of those actually as it happens, just chilling in that pouch of his.
Let's keep going. Cameron Day.
Here, Kane, hurry!
Kane's going to steel himself at this point. He's going to let out a deep breath. He's just realized he's been trying to bend nature to his will when he just needs to go with the flow, baby. He needs to let Jesus take the wheel right now. And I'm going to roll based off of faith.
I really didn't take Kane to
What?
be religious, but
Based off of faith.
Oh.
That's a D12, ladies and gentlemen.
Kane is very
With the
religious.
plot twist.
That's an 11, baby.
Wow.
Although it's -2 because he's always in sin. And that's an actual mechanic.
That's cool. Okay, but still that's a 9, so that's success with a raise. So we're gone from 6 successes to 8. We only need 2 more. And Cameron Reed, it's your turn. Well, I guess we should describe this, right? Or do you want to wait until...
Yeah, let's
Okay.
wait for the climax.
What I'm going to try to do is figure out where these things are going. I'm going to try to find a safe way out of here. I guess it could potentially lead towards the successes of the group, because if they get this thing out of here, they're going to need a place to go.
I don't think I buy that. But if you want to know where they're going, I think there'd be some sort of role to determine an animal's behavior.
I mean, it would be very useful to have a safe exit, though. I mean, you could just do that.
Notice or battle.
Well, I don't have battle, but I do have notice, so I'm going to go ahead and roll that. That's an 8.
Beautiful. Yeah, so you notice these bugs, they're definitely just running. They don't seem at all interested in you. Kind of going through everywhere, but maybe like a third of them are all going in the same direction through this one twisting cave that you could fit you and your compatriots through. Isaac, it's your turn.
Dolores sees John looking for the exit to this place. We've got Kane wrapping this thing up and Dr. Soren with his machine ready to go. She is a woman of action. So anticipating the fact that we're going to get this rock up and out, she's going to look for some way to carry this, some kind of conveyance. I think I'm going to have to roll notice again.
Okay, all right.
That's a 4.
1 success
She did it.
added to the pot. What do you think? Wheelbarrow makes sense to me?
All right, so I'm looking for the wheelbarrow. I found one. That's 1 success. So she has it ready, pulling it back over, and she'll call out down to the crew that's extracting this artifact. Hurry it up.
And with that, the tunnel critters are into the room. They pour out like spastic molasses in fast motion, pouring out in waves of black, reflective, chitinous carapaces, covering the walls, the ceiling, and the floor. And however many bugs are coming out into the room, so many more are following them. Some of them are the same size as the ones you fought before, others much larger, triple the size of kimono dragons.
You say kimono dragons?
Yeah, it's Komodo.
Those are pretty sweet.
Komodo
Kimono
dragons
is like
would be the, would
traditional
be a Japanese.
Japanese-
You got me.
Cherry blossom outfits on.
Although now I really like that image.
Like kimono dragon, dude. That's a good gamer tag.
That is a good game.
It's a really good gamer tag. Kimono dragon.
Yeah.
You know, thanks for ruining my tension because now we got to make fear
The
rolls.
only one to ruin
no.
your tension is you, Caleb.
Komodo dragon.
Just straight spirit for fear roll. Guts is now an edge if you're familiar with Deadlands.
Are there any negatives, Caleb?
-2.
Perfect. I got a success because I got +2 from Brave.
I got a 10.
11.
Soren's going to spend another Benny to reroll. This is all in the same round, right? Does he get a +2 from Joker on this?
Yeah.
+2 -2, that's a 6.
All succeeded. You steel yourselves against the wave that's entering the room. On their next turn, the next card that they are dealt and they act on, they can reach everyone but John.
How close are they to us? Do we have a clear sight of them right now?
Yes, definitely. They're probably, in grid terms, they're within 6 inches, so that's 6 yards.
Okay, cool.
But there is so many of them. Alex, you're the last one to go in this round. I'm going to shuffle the deck now because a joker was drawn, and I'll take your card and put it in here. There are 9 successes for this dramatic task.
You have this, man.
1 more is needed.
So are they grouped up pretty good?
Yes.
What kind of area are we talking here?
What are you trying to accomplish?
I'm trying to cast the spell Blast, take out as many of these fucking things as I can. If I kill a bunch of them, can we argue that I get a success in this task?
Yeah, I think if you want to make a what is that for you? Is that a shooting roll for you?
It's a hex sling.
Making that spell casting roll, I could buy that, and you could stop the sea long enough for Kane to pull it out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
He's got it set up. There's nothing I can do at this point with the rope that's going to help the situation in any way.
Right.
If I jump across, it's not really going to help. So yeah, I'm just going to cast Blast on the ceiling of this cavern and see how many of these things I can kill.
If you do roll enough damage, the tunnel may very well collapse partially. And if you roll very well, the tunnel may collapse. And if you roll, bonkers, the whole goddamn cavern's coming down.
Okay.
You can do it.
I think I'm going to try and spend some extra power points. I'm casting Blast, +1 to make it a large blast template instead of a medium. All right, here we go. I've got 1 Benny left as long as I don't get snake eyes. Success, no raise.
This explosion is enough to stop the torrent for long enough for Kane to pull it out. So we'll let him describe that, but what does the breaking of the sea look like?
Grant's rifle's been slung on his back. Dr. Soren has kind of taken care of this rope situation already, so he just quickly slings it to the front and then aims towards the ceiling. Then we can see all these glistening shells of these centipedes. And the butt of my rifle kind of glows green a little bit. Remember when I said there was some runes kind of carved into it?
Yeah.
So one of those kind of lights up green in this darkness of this cave. I shoot a bullet out, but as soon as the bullet hits the ceiling, it just materializes into flame, and it looks like I'm sure everyone's seen footage of a fire spreading across the ceiling or something really rapidly.
Oh, yeah.
It looks like that just kind of sweeps
yeah.
across the ceiling of this cavern.
There's a bunch of tunnel critters in it.
I got a 6. That blows up. Another
Oh
6.
no!
Nice.
That's 19.
This is bad at this point.
No, it's just fire, dude. It's not an explosion. It's fine. 24.
Wow. I think we cut into the crevasse where Kane, how have you've hooked up this thing, you've tied it up?
Well, that's the real fucked up part about it, is that the faith roll comes in, is that Kane doesn't even know how to tie a knot for this. How do you tie a knot around a big ass boulder?
Oh,
so
dude.
he's kind of just going it, he's winging it, and he's letting kind of intuition go at this point.
He's letting God take the wheel.
That's very cool.
You reach this moment where you're sort of unsure of how to tie it up, and you can feel the clock ticking, and just the world erupts in fire. Everything above you, a sky of righteous flame. You look down with a smile, tie a knot, having no idea how you've just done it, and tug on the rope as we cut up to Soren, who flips the tortoise that starts.
Soren cranks on the tail and gets
Yes.
the winch to turning.
Crank that
Hell yeah.
tail.
Crank it and shift it to the left, and the gear will start turning, and he's going to have Peggy start to slowly make her way away from the crevasse to get a little bit extra pull.
Grant, as you watch, the effects of your fire were quite successful. I mean, that's a very large amount of damage. These things are burning and twitching. They're lighting up much of the cavern all the way to this opening that they're exiting from. But very, very quickly, their burning bodies just start to go out. And as soon as they go out, you can't even see them. It's like there's a blanket of darkness pouring out like a thick, soupy fog out of the direction from which they're running. With that being said, you guys have completed the dramatic task. Something is still coming, but I think we can drop out of initiative as long as you're all about to run.
Yeah, Kane's throwing that shit right in the wheelbarrow as soon as he gets up top, and I think we're all just going to book it.
You are running uphill. You are being led by Cameron. So let's do a little thing here. I think you're going uphill. -2. You're taking this piece of ghost rock with you, which is slowing you down. I think that's a -1. And then I think Cameron Reed,
Yeah.
you got a raise on finding a successful way out,
Yeah.
which means you're going to give the group a +1 to this. So that means we're at a total of a -2. Failure means you're going to gain a level of fatigue,
Yikes.
but you will be able to make it out successfully because I don't want to kill someone on an athletics roll.
This sucks.
Well,
You
you're
don't
going
want
to, so
You don't want to, but
A critical failure may
heart
result
attack or something.
may result in something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so I also have the major hindrance, Alien.
Ailing?
Alien.
Oh, okay.
So he's got real bad lungs.
I
And
thought you were.
I'm pretty sure if I get a critical fail on this, I die.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I swear.
oh man,
I swear.
you've got
Wow.
Aelin. I have elderly, so I take an additional -2 to my athletics roll.
You guys.
Well, I got the
80
wheelbarrow,
fatigue check.
right?
I thought it was Dolores had the
Do we
wheelbarrow.
all get the -2 for
Who's
running
pushing?
uphill?
Yeah, I'll
You're
do the
pushing it?
wheelbarrow.
So we're still all at number -2?
all -2
Okay.
just because you're being slowed down by that person.
Okay.
Oh,
I
wow.
didn't die.
Cameron Reed blew it up to hell and back.
16.
Oh boy, I got a 4. -2.
You want to roll for Isaac?
What's your athletics?
D6.
Fatigue hurts you the
Nope.
same way that
-1 on everything.
Yeah, I think it's -1 on all actions until you heal your fatigue.
Isaac, do you want to take that fatigue or do you want to roll a Benny?
I think I got to roll a Benny, guys. This is an important
you
runaway.
got
him to
Let's burn the Benny.
I'm scared to do it because I could die.
That is worse. Worse on that one.
Okay, I'm gonna try my best here. I gotta get a 6 though. That's not great. I don't know. I might just take that fatigue.
I think we have to.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but that's just going to be the way
You've
it
got a
is.
lot of bennies. I would use one if I were you.
My thing is, if I re-roll and it's a critical failure, I literally die.
That's true.
So I kind of don't want to risk it. It's like the one fail that I just cannot get a critical failure on. So I'm just going to be fatigued.
Yeah, I think
I'm going to
someone's
take a
gonna take the
-1
fatigue
instead
too.
of a negative
Ugh,
character.
the whole group is fatigued.
The only one that succeeded was John.
That's right.
Well, it makes sense. He's further ahead, right?
Uh-huh.
and not helping at all.
Right,
So,
right.
you know.
Yeah.
It is with great difficulty that the group places this artifact in the wheelbarrow and it goes with a start. The blanket of darkness pours out behind you, putting out the fires as it goes. Bugs are still running kind of all around you, but they're very scattered, thankfully. None of them are latching on to you, seeing as Grant killed so many of them. And you start pushing this wheelbarrow up. The cloud follows behind you for a few moments. Still smells like sewage in here, by the way. And you peek back, and you seem to have gone away from the source. After a few minutes of running, nothing is following you, although you do see the occasional small tunnel critter. And then we cut to the entrance of the mine. The group of explorers comes out of this cave covered in sweat. It is hot. The fresh air hits your sweaty skin and is immediately a relieving, cooling feeling. Everyone can get a Benny just for surviving and escaping with the artifact. It was touch and go there for a minute. I was about ready to run this session in a completely different way.
Dolores drops the wheelbarrow with a bang and then just kind of collapses down into a seated position next to it as she's breathing heavily, looking around at them. I think we did it, didn't we?
We didn't do shit.
You didn't do shit. The rest of us did pretty good, though.
That's all right.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Of course we did.
Yeah.
This was the mission. I mean, this was the
Yeah,
Yeah.
real smooth there.
You showed a lot of gumption there, lady. Dolores, was it?
Yes, Doctor.
Sorry, the run. Nothing in the street.
No, I quite understand.
Listen, if you're the representative of what's to be expected from Texas Rangers, was it? You're all right by me. Oh, I need a nap.
She looks like almost panicked, like around like deer in the headlights, and then, yes, sir, that is right. And you hear a little bit more of an accent come through as soon as she acknowledges it.
I think Grant's kind of looking around because he knows this is the property of Wharton. We caused a lot of commotion in that mine. I'm just kind of surveying the area real fast to see if we have any company out here.
Without even a notice roll, can notice several figures atop horseback, sort of on small cliff sides, like 15 feet above the mine entrance, looking down at you.
Out of the kettle and into the pan, it looks like. And then I point to these riders.
Oh, Christ. Never really ends, does it?
A small group of horsemen approaches, kind of riding down off these red hillsides. You're almost in like a quarry entrance, like it seems like they've, like not a deep quarry, but it's sort of these walls surrounding the entrance to the mine that have been cleared out. Lots of supplies that was either ruined or was too heavy to pay someone to haul out still sits around. There's mine tracks running out of the mine into this sort of loading area, staging area to load it up on wagons. And I think there's a crane that's been like destroyed and fallen over here as well. The leading horseman is a figure you, of course, instantly recognize. Grant as Clarence Wharton. He is a sharply dressed man, although perhaps with a bit too much panache. He's got a black vest with leather tassels on the front of it. You know, those Western sort of tassels. You guys know what I'm talking about. He's got a white long sleeve dusty shirt under that rolled up and a flat brim black hat, almost like Heisenberg's hat from the Breaking Bad series. He's got a mustache curled up on both ends and like facial hair shaved yesterday, all black. Riding boots and green trousers. He pulls up his horse about 10 yards short of y'all, along with 3 of his riders. And Alex, you can pick out another 3 or 4 on top of these hills around you. He glances to you for a moment, Grant, and then looks around, spitting on the ground. Mr. Hildebrand, the argument can be made that I'm at fault for what has transpired here. That my poor stewardship of this property has allowed an opportunity for a person of low moral character, such as yourself, to gain ingress. Would you make that argument?
I suppose I would. I guess we're good here, right, Clarence?
That's not exactly what I'm implying here.
Well, here's the thing. This wheelbarrow and this item we have, we brought that into the mine with us. We're not taking it from the mine.
I'm not sure that would hold up in a court of law, would it, Mr. Hildebrand? Especially since we have previously spoken about you trespassing on my land.
I don't recall that conversation, Clarence.
I'm sure there will be several witnesses that will have no hard time finding themselves onto the stand with enough money in their pockets.
Clarence, Mr. Warden, was it?
Yeah, speak. What's your name?
My name is Dr. Erickson. And
Dr. Erickson, are you a accomplice in this breaking and entering that Mr. Hildebrand has acquiesced upon my mind?
No, sir. We are here to determine the safety of your mine after that recent explosion.
It's hard to determine why a mine would need to be considered safe when it has been considered abandoned.
Well, I'm sure you heard the reports of all the recent explosion. We brought this item here to ascertain whether there was any further danger so that you could reopen your mine. I heard that you had this conversation. I'm sorry, Grant. But we really would prefer you're able to use this property to its fullest extent, and any further damage would be quite regrettable. It is quite dangerous down there, sir. I can assure you of that.
Grant, could you make a spirit roll opposed by this guy's persuasion real quick?
Yeah, sure thing. Uh-oh, let's look at 3 and a 2. -1 from the trait. I'm using a mini.
All right, he got a 5, beat a 5.
All right, that's a 6, blows up. Got a 10, -1 from being fatigued, so that's a 9.
So you got him by a raise. He seems greatly perturbed when Dr. Soren brings up the explosion. He sort of runs his tongue along his bottom teeth and pushes out his jaw with a bit of a popping sound, runs his hand sort of along his cheeks as he's talking about that particular subject. Is there anything else you want to know with a raise about sort of how he's feeling about this situation? Why don't you think on it?
Okay.
Cut back to Soren, I think. You said your name is Erickson?
That's correct, sir.
Mr. Erickson, I have no reason for this mine anymore. It's my property, and we have determined that it is unsalvageable. And so we have abandoned it. I have no need for it to be safe. And I don't need you to be doing those things on my account, especially without my permission, especially with my explicit instructions to Grant to not set foot in this mine.
Well, on that account, I do apologize. I didn't hear that he had told you, or that you had told him no. Sorry.
And do you agree with his account that you brought this wheelbarrow in with you with... And he looks at the wheelbarrow and his eyes go up a bit. And he looks to the people around him, rotates in his stirrups, and then starts to move his horse towards the wheelbarrow.
Whoa, no closer there, Clarence.
No, that is correct.
You gonna shoot a man in cold blood on his own property, Grant?
Maybe I will, maybe I won't. We'll see how this pans out. That's up to
Certainly
you.
will
Dr.
not.
Erickson, as he comes up, will sort of walk up in front of the wheelbarrow and sort of try to draw his attention some more. Yes, sir. This here was something of mine I picked up in the Isles of the Galapagos, if you're familiar. There was a bit of an explosion before, and this here was a device that I found very helpful in determining future events being damaging. I know you say you don't plan to use it, but what good is empty land if you can't even sell it?
I think I want you to make a persuasion roll at -2.
I'm already at -1, Caleb.
Sorry, buddy. Opposed by his spirit. I think you can just do it flat or opposed, but since this guy's sort of like a big bad, we're going to do opposed.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, he blew up a
That's not-
6.
that's not good.
He rolled 2 6s. He got an 8.
I got a 6.
Ooh. So
Well,
I got an 8.
-3.
-3.
Dolores, can't you fucking flash a badge or something? Aren't you a Texas Ranger?
I am undercover, sir.
Well, you suck at it.
She frowns and then, fine, steps forward and, in a loud voice, addresses him. Sir, my name is Miss Dolores Day. Are you familiar?
I'm not familiar with you specifically. Are you familiar with myself?
No, sir, except as such as you've threatened my companions and called upon a number of spurious interpretations of both property and real estate law.
My dear ma'am, this is the frontier. This is the wild fucking west. This is my goddamn property. I gave explicit instructions to your compatriot here not to enter these premises. Now, there are multiple witnesses that I wouldn't have to pay a goddamn
Sir.
silver dollar to go up on that goddamn witness stand for the judge, okay? I could kill you where you stand right now.
I will correct you on the first point. This is not the Wild West. This is Texas. And she pulls out her Texas Ranger badge and it kind of glints a little bit in the sun. And on the second point, I will correct you. You do not have the right to gun a man down on your property regardless of what you think. Though you are more than welcome to try.
Clarence, you said it yourself. This mine's abandoned. What do you care what we take out of there?
Just because we've stopped production and excavation doesn't mean there ain't nothing of value in there. Someone comes up and takes something that's mine, even if I haven't touched in a while, it's still fucking mine. Now, ma'am, I ain't gonna shoot none of you. I ain't making no threats. Don't put words into my mouth. I'm a businessman. What I am concerned about is the product, and he points towards the wheelbarrow that he still can't quite see, that you've decided to risk your lives for. Well, that property's mine. Would you care to correct me on that, ma'am?
She thinks for a long moment, trying to think, is there some regulation? Is there some rule? Is there something? And then she decides to go with what is probably a very truthful bluff.
Okay.
She definitely doesn't have the authority for it, right? Sir, by the power granted in me as a Texas Ranger of this territory, we are claiming this for specific research and public safety purposes. Now, you will be fairly recompensed.
If I'm going to be fairly recompensed, I best better take a look at what you're taking. And if this is lawful, I'm sure you won't have any problem with that. And he looks to Grant.
She shrugs. Be my guest.
Agent John has been looking more and more irritated as this theater has gone on. At this point, he's kind of got his head in his hand, just rubbing his temples and glaring up at this man as he's, making these stupid arguments, looking around at all these people, lying to each other, just back and forth, and he's just kind of content at the moment to stay silent.
Clarence pulls himself forward on the horse and looks down, lets out a high-pitched whistle as he sees the nugget of ghost rock sitting in there. Why would the Texas Rangers want a big chunk of ghost rock for research purposes? I guess I'm confused on that.
Are you a Texas Ranger, sir?
No, but I am the public, ma'am, and you're taking it for public safety. As the
That's
member of the
right.
public, I'd like to know what fucking safety we're talking about here, because it looks like a big goddamn wheelbarrow of money you're fixing to steal from me and the people of this community.
The people of this community.
He ignores you and kind of like runs his tongue over his teeth again.
Dolores is running out of bluffing depth, and she kind of like looks around at her companions.
Listen, Clarence, you've got plenty of ghost rock, okay? As you know, I'm part of a organization. This organization spans the whole country. You might think you're hot shit here, Clarence. But if something happens to me, they know I'm doing this mission. They know everything about you, Clarence. You will pay the price. Now, you've got plenty more ghost rock down there. Just let us take this small amount. We can go our separate ways. That's it.
Why don't you make a persuasion roll? And we're going to and this set -2.
So -3 again.
Yep. If you succeed, we're going to add on top of the roll Dolores is about to make.
Nope, that's a 3.
He looks down at Dolores and kind of extends a hand, leaning down off his horse a little bit. Hey, throw me that badge. Let me take a look-see.
I will certainly not, though you may dismount and view it at a closer distance.
He pops off his horse with a smile and kind of walks towards you, gun holstered at his side, kind of puts out a hand, smiling.
I think there's a brief moment where we hear some whirring, and Peggy the turtle comes slowly creeping out of the...
Yes.
Just need to establish she still has my pistol.
Continuity.
You can get a Benny for that, Marshall.
Well done, Marshall.
Thank you.
So she holds it up for him, but like he's obviously not allowed to touch it.
Yeah, he just moves his eyes like 4 inches away from it, kind of licks his lips, plays with his mustache for a sec, leans back, nodding. I'd like you to make a flat, either law or persuasion roll, Isaac.
I'd like to roll law, because that's a D6.
Yes.
Let's do it. And this will just be opposed by his smarts, which is a D4.
That's a 5.
He got a 4. Success. No raise.
All right.
However, there's been like 4 other failures
Yeah,
in
well, we're
the
not counting
social
those.
encounter. Well, not that it's hard to fake a badge, but guess a little ghost rock isn't worth dying over. Is it, Grant?
That's right.
Something in Dolores snaps, and she gets a little bit angry at this. Sir, are you suggesting that in any way I have counterfeited my credentials?
Oh, not at all, ma'am.
You did, however, say it would be very easy to counterfeit these credentials, did you not?
I did say that.
That would be an implication, by association, that I counterfeited this.
Jesus.
He smiles, kind of popping out his bottom jaw, looks you up and down. Ma'am, you can think whatever the fuck you want. I ain't drawing on you, and I don't think you're gonna draw on me.
Sir, a man who accuses a Texas Ranger of anything other than perfect and upright behavior in this great, beautiful Lone Star state of ours is not a man I think should get to walk away after running his mouth the way you have.
Now,
Whoa,
Miss
whoa.
Ranger, why don't you take yourself a moment to calm down?
Grant, who the fuck is this? You can tell them to shut the fuck up, because this is none of their goddamn concern. Ma'am,
Oh, shit. Okay.
I did not mean to insult your integrity, but it seems you meant to insult mine. Now, I'm not sure about the legalities of it in the great state of fucking Texas. But if you want to draw on me, we sure as hell can do that. But we don't involve anybody else here, and we sure as hell don't involve my boys.
If you guys want to duel in the street, that's up to you, but are we done here? Can we wheel this thing out of here or what, Clarence?
That's up to you, Miss... What was it? Day?
She glares at him. Ranger Day.
Excuse me. You okay if he takes this wheelbarrow out of here?
I certainly am.
Go on, then.
There's a big sigh of relief from old man Erickson as he sort of slumps onto Peggy for a moment. Oh, well, I'm glad this has all been taken care of then. Grant? Kane? Shall we be off?
Kane
Yeah.
starts stabbing immediately. He just starts killing.
So she backs up from him a little bit and then like is ready to de-escalate the situation if everybody else is.
I think Grant just grabs a wheelbarrow and
Starts walking.
now he calls over Vigmund.
Oh, that's right.
And then, we just start walking.
I think as people start moving off, Agent Boudreaux kind of walks up next to Ranger Day after giving a little bit of space and leans over. Now, you know that the Rangers are going to be upset about you getting distracted so easily.
She frowns. Sir, what would you know about the Ranger operations?
Well, apparently more than you. He kind of takes that hat that has been ruined in the fight with the bugs and puts it back onto his head and squishes it down. Now I am going to move along and get myself the real information important to the government, and I can only assume important to the Rangers. What caused such an explosion, and what could cause these critters to be coming out of here? Now, you can come back with a big, shiny piece of gold, which I likely don't think that you're going to get, or you can come back with some useful information. It's up to you. And he moves off.
Her eyes have been wide since the moment he mentioned that, the government would benefit from all this, because her brain just put together a couple connections. And as he walks away, she just mouths to herself, "He's from the agency," in awe that she just got to meet an agent. And then as they keep walking, she kind of trails behind them all deep in thought.
Is that no that, Miss Day?
Oh, what?
Sure you don't want to dance before you go?
Oh, my card's been full for days. She realizes that was not as cool and gunslingery as she thought it was, and turns away.
He laughs, and then he starts making some joke behind your back to his men, and they start laughing as you walk off. And you hear their cackling like hyenas in the distance. Music on the show was by Rudy Zuniga, Levi Rojas, or Caleb Sunstead. I'm Caleb, your GM or Marshal, and you can find me on Twitter at MarshallCaleb. You can also find me and the rest of the crew on our regular podcast, Sounds Like Crows, at Sounds of Crows on Twitter. Boudreaux is played by Cameron Reed, and you can find him on Twitter at CJReed211. Doc Soren was played by Marshall Sims at Mr. Malicious1 on Twitter. Cameron Day played Kane, and you can find him on our Discord server at patreon.com/soundslikeCrows. Grant Hildebrand was played by Alex Horrell, and you can find him at sasquatch@gmail.com. Ranger Day was played by Isaac Sunstead at Able the Crow on Twitter. Savage Worlds and Deadlands The Weird West are owned by the Pinnacle Entertainment Group. You can find them at peginc.com. Special thanks to Shane Hensley, Matthew Cutter, Simon Lucas, and Jody Black. All right, y'all, that's it.